Work wanted. A fit 62-year-old helicopter pilot out of work due to COVID-19 says it's a tough job market out there, but he's keen to turn his hand to working on Auckland's ports after hearing on Checkpoint that it's desperately short of about 50 employees. Ports of Auckland is facing a barrage of criticism over long delays in docking and unloading ships as retailers wait desperately for stock heading into the Christmas rush. Communications manager Matt Ball told us the port's working with immigration to get visa changes for qualified overseas workers already in the country and is also hurriedly trying to recruit locals.
We're short of some crane drivers, some straddle operators and a lot of lashers and a few other roles. We probably need around 50 people. Long term, we're like many industries like truck driving and others where we have always had a short supply of staff. So we've always been about 30 short in the last sort of 2 to 3, 4 years, but it's got worse as a result of COVID. We're trying to fix it. We're trying to hire people as fast as we can. That, admittedly, is still difficult. We thought maybe things will be better at the moment because, a lot of people have lost jobs, but we've got 7 people starting work on Monday, but that's out of over 30 people that we interviewed. Only 7 have got through the process. We are finding it difficult to hire people.
Pilot Peter Matheson heard the interview and thought he's got the skills needed to be a straddle carrier operator. Now, those are those giant machines that are used to move shipping containers around. So he fired off an application.
I was listening to your interview with the port's communication manager going on about how they lacked the straddle carriers for moving containers around the port. And I thought, well, that's something I could do. And he had mentioned that they were taking people on and training them and all those sorts of things. Found their advertisement on Trade Me, put an application in and sat back and waited for them to respond to that. What I noticed this morning on Trade Me was that they had taken down their advertisement looking for straddle carriers or stevedores as they had it listed.
Have you heard back from them at all?
No, nothing. Not a dicky bird.
So how long's it been since you fired off the application?
Well, that was only about a week or 10 days ago. I'm not sure what day you interviewed him, but it was basically directly after that. I had a bit of a search on Trade Me, found Ports of Auckland. They had a couple of jobs up on there. Found the stevedoring one, which I assumed was what they were looking for. And inside that advertisement, they were looking for straddle carrier operators. So I thought, well, that's something I could do.
Peter, what makes you think you'd be a good straddle carrier operator? What's your experience? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, in recent times, I've been a contract helicopter pilot, but prior to that, I've worked in civil construction. So I've driven diggers and bulldozers and big trucks and cranes and all manner of things. So if it's only a piece of equipment that needs driving, then I'm a very capable driver. So I thought, well, I'm 62 now, and having a stable job, for want of a better word, until I retire would be a good thing. And as I said, the interview that you conducted, he did say that they were looking to train people. So I thought, well, that's something that I could apply myself to. I'm sure I would be good at it and get on and get containers moving, because obviously they have an issue there of getting containers off the wharf.
So obviously as a helicopter pilot, that's pretty complicated machinery. You need to be pretty dexterous. Do you see some parallels with the job that you've thrown your hat in the ring for?
Absolutely. It's all about someone training you for a role and then you conducting that role to the level of training that you've received. So obviously within their operation, they have people who can train you to drive a straddle carrier. So it's only taking that information on board and then showing that you've understood it and demonstrating that back to the training people. It's no different to learning to drive a car, I guess. You have to learn to drive it, and then you demonstrate your skill to a testing officer. So it's the same sort of thing.
The port has mentioned that they were talking with the government about getting visa extensions for people who are offshore workers. You're someone local who thinks that you would be good for the job. Do you have concerns about people coming in on exemptions and visas?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it seems to me that we have a large number of people who have skills, maybe not industry specific, but they're not stupid people. They're capable of working. I've been doing some contract digger driving of late, and you start work at 7 in the morning, you finish work at 7 at night. So even at 62, I'm still able to go and do a day's work. All I need is the ability or the opportunity to go and do something a little bit more technical. But I can't see the point of bringing people from overseas when we've got a large number who are already here. I live in Auckland. I live not that far from the port. And so therefore, to me, it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you train a local staff to do the local work?
So here's your opportunity. You've got the floor. What's your pitch to the ports? What would you like to say to them, and what would you like from them?
Well, I'd just like them to really follow through with what they said in the interview. This communications manager said that they were prepared to train local people to do that work. And it seems that when you put the application in, they're not interested in local people.
And you'd love to work for them?
Oh, I'd love to work for them. Absolutely. Great place to work. Where does it get better than down on the wharf with all the activity that's going on out in the harbour? I mean, it's a beautiful harbour. It's a great place to work. It's in the city. It couldn't get better, really. And it's time that all employers need to look around and say, hey, you may not have exactly what we want, but you know how to work. You've obviously got some technical skills that we can train you, and let's get on with creating a business and an economy that's inclusive of all people.
Because sometimes, Peter, people say that, well, some Kiwis don't really want to work and some of us are lazy and we don't want the jobs that are on offer.
Oh, I find that completely wrong. What they seem to really be saying is that we want cheap workers. It's a little bit like Sanford's bringing in the Russian guys. There's plenty of young kids who have been through the Westport fishing college down there who can't get a job on these boats. They've spent all that time and effort and money, and they can't get work. So I don't think employers are really being honest with what they're saying.
And we wanted to know what had happened to Peter's application. The Ports of Auckland CEO wasn't available to talk to us, but the ports have confirmed they got Peter's application and say they prefer to respond directly with candidates rather than via an automated email response, so they can take a little longer to get back to people. And the recruiters were due to contact Peter today.